A free AI just beat the most expensive one on earth. Not at coding, not at math, but at taste and at design. The thing that everyone said a machine could never really have, and the exact thing billion-dollar labs were charging you a premium for. A model you can download for free entered a blind design contest against Claude's best model and won. Look at these two websites. One was built with the most expensive AI available, and the other was built by a free download. Which one is which? I ran this test myself and I honestly couldn't tell. By the end of this video, you probably won't be able to tell either. But you will know exactly which model to use for which kind of work and why your AI build this year is about to start looking completely absurd. Because this is not just one lucky model. The entire game is flipping at once, and most of it has happened in the last 2 weeks. For the last year and a half, open models were far behind the frontier ones. In 2024, the gap was like a canyon. Now, independent benchmarks, not benchmarks run by the labs themselves, but the others that put the best models roughly 4 months behind the closed frontier. Just 4 months. And they are not arriving one at a time. They're arriving in a flood. In the first half of this year alone, at least 6 different labs released models that landed somewhere in the frontier territory. And in one 5-day stretch this month, 4 open models dropped. 4 models in just 5 days. And developers have already voted with their money. On OpenRouter, the place where developers actually go to spend money on AI, American models fell from roughly 70% of all usage to around just 30% in a single year. Chinese open weight models are now the majority. That is already where most of the work is even happening. The old deal was simple. Frontier intelligence came from 3 companies at whatever price they chose. But that deal just broke. Not because one competitor showed up, but the floor gave way. Cheap is one thing, but it didn't just stop at cheap. It got good enough to take that one thing that expensive labs were convinced that it belonged to them alone, which was taste. So meet the model that did it. Kimi K3 from a lab called Moonshot, and it won through blind voting. Developers were shown 2 designs and asked to choose between the better one without knowing which model had made which. And Kimi K3 came first, ahead of Claude's best and even ahead of GPT. It won on brand pages, dashboards, product interfaces, and almost everything except games. The thing we were told required human taste, a free download now does that better than most models people pay the most for. And it can do something last year's open models could not. It can see. So older cheap models built websites blindly. They would write a page, but they couldn't actually look at what they had made. They were basically guessing the colors and layouts from the code. Kimi K3 can look at its own screen. Someone gave it a target design and deliberately broke 5 things in the final render and asked it what went wrong. It caught all 5. It can build a page, take a screenshot, notice what looks off and fix it, just the way you would. And this is not a staged benchmark. Theo, a developer a lot of engineers follow, pointed that Kimi K3 at his own product, a real app with real users. He asked it to redesign the part of the interface that his team had already built using Claude. His words were that it produced a better design than what they already had, and from a free model at roughly a third of the price. And running it is almost stupidly simple because it speaks Claude Code's language. You just add 2 lines to your settings, and one points Claude Code at Kimi instead of Anthropic, and the other names the model. That's it. The exact same tool you already use is now running on Kimi. So let's run the test that I just promised. Same prompt, build a real good-looking web page. And one version is going to Claude's best model and the other one goes to the free one. One of these was made by the download. And can you tell which one? Because I couldn't. The same task and giving the same result. Now let's talk about the money. Kimi is cheaper than the Frontier, but not quite in the way that the sticker price makes it sound. Its listed price is closer to Claude's mid-tier model. The difference is what you get for that price. You're getting intelligence that can beat the flagship on design for a third of what the flagship costs. That is what cheap means now. flagship level work at mid-tier prices. It is slower than Claude and it burns more words to getting the answer. So your real saving is probably closer to half than 1/10. But still, just half the price, and it wins on the thing that mattered. And even that price is about to fall through the floor. In a few days, on the 27th, Kimi's weights go fully public. And once the weights go public, pricing stops being whatever one company decides to charge. It becomes whatever it actually costs to run the model. So we just watched this happen with the last major open release. Within about 2.5 weeks of the weights going public, around 20 different services were already hosting it. And one of them undercut the original company's price by a third on the company's own model. Follow that logic all the way down and it becomes brutal for the expensive labs. Closed frontier models charge something like 10 times the underlying compute cost. That is the markup of the business. An open weight file removes it. The same class of intelligence, $20-something per million tokens at the top and just $5 on Kimi's own service. And it's going to be a couple of dollars once everyone starts hosting it. And eventually something close to the price of electricity if you run it yourself. That's roughly 10-fold collapse in a matter of weeks. And unlike a subscription, that number only moves in one direction, which is down. And investors understand this. They have put almost $4 billion in under a month into companies whose entire business is running these free models for you. So does that mean that paid models are finished? No. And the places where they still win tell you exactly what premium is buying you. Claude's best model is still faster and noticeably faster. It's still ahead on the hardest and longest tasks. The multi-hour autonomous builds, the nasty debugging problems, and even the design win has a boundary. Kimi won on web design, but ask it to design a native mobile app and Claude is still better. And one more honest point, because Kimi comes from a Chinese lab. If you care about where your code is processed, openness is also the solution. You can run the model through a Western host or on your own machine. Nobody's forcing you to send anything through Beijing. And because the model is open, that choice belongs to you and not the lab. But look at how much the list of these weaknesses has shrunk. It used to be the cheap model can't really build. Then it became that it can build but doesn't have any taste. And now the gap is mostly just raw speed and the very hardest problems. The premium has not completely disappeared, but it has become thin. And it gets thinner with every release. So stop being loyal to one model and hire the right one for the job. The map has just flipped. The free model that used to be your budget backup, and now it may be your first choice for design and front-end work, which is most of what many people build in a normal week. So keep the expensive model for the long, difficult jobs where it still earns its premium. Do that and your everyday AI build drops by most of itself, and for work that you genuinely cannot tell apart from the premium version. 2 years ago, the smartest AI in world came from 3 companies, and it cost a fortune. Today, one of the best models available is a file that you can download for free and run for roughly the price of an electricity. The intelligence itself, the part that these companies build billion-dollar businesses on, is racing towards zero. Right now, some of the best web design you can get from any AI comes from a free download, and nobody can switch it off. Nobody can raise the price overnight, and just in a few days, it's going to be yours to keep. So set it up tonight. The 2 lines are in the description, and stop paying for the part that just became free. If you found this video useful, subscribe to our channel and share it with someone that it can help.